Greetings, motherfuckers! Dances with White Chicks here. I know it's been a while.
Where the fuck was you at? What the fuck was you doing?
But let's talk about Brightburn.
I ain't caught nothing like this in a while. Hey, I'm talking about, bro, like, Jit. Oh, Jit going, nobody don't know who Jit is, bro, like. Hey, Jit. Like, Jit is going ham in this bitch. We is in dollar store.
No spoilers for the first section of this Brightburn review. Okay, motherfuckers? Shit. So Brightburn is a superhero horror film. Technically, the second release this year after Captain Marvel. But this one is directed by not James Gunn, aka David Yarovesky, if that is how you pronounce his name. Forgive me, folks. Even these fuckers that are paid to interview this motherfucker don't know for sure how the name is pronounced.
Director Dave Yarovesky is here. Hello, Dave. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Welcome.
But yep, don't let the marketing fool you. James Gunn only was a producer. This is another case of a studio trying to fool people by banking on the name of a more well-known director that is only producing. I mean, it's not like they randomly put visionary director of Guardians of the Galaxy all across the motherfucking screen without a reason. But not James Gunn. David Yarovesky was the true director, and the film by all means is his work, along with the writers Mark Gunn, who is the cousin of James Gunn, and Brian Gunn, who was James Gunn's younger brother. I know what you're thinking. They really kept it in the family when it came to this project. I mean, it has all these motherfuckers. James Gunn, Mark Gunn, Brian Gunn, Gun Jack, motherfucker shooting gun, Jung Ho We Was Guns. It has it all. But let me get back to David. When it comes to Dave, there's just not that much info about him or what typical style he brings to his films yet. He's relatively new. All I know about him is that he just happens to look like the love child of J.J. Abrams and Skrillex. Now, I'm a very nice person, and I don't enjoy talking shit. I'm also very truthful when I say that. So when I went in, I gave David's vision a chance. After all, it sounded like Brightburn had an interesting premise. It's basically a parody of Superman if he was an evil middle school aged Zoomer. So it's pretty much seeing Superman as a horror villain. There's a lot of potential there to not only be a fun parody, but to really get into some disturbing scenes with the power set of the character. The motherfucker could rip out of your intestines, burn you with heat vision, and of course my favorite, snap your motherfucking neck. It never gets old. So does David Yarovesky deliver with Brightburn? Short answer is, it's okay. It's definitely not terrible. It is entertaining. But when it comes to its horror aspects, I say it leaves a lot to be desired. There's nothing here that's groundbreaking for the horror genre. It's just what it is. I mean, the amount of horror tropes in this motherfucking film, it's insane. It's insane. Characters in this film are supposed to be semi-tropish, of course. For example, this is no spoiler because it's in the trailer and it's the motherfucking premise, but the parents are parodies of Pa and Ma Kent. They are supposed to kind of act like those characters, right? But the way they behave, given certain information, is just typical of a horror film. Like, they are the typical characters in horror films that are being dumb to the point where it's motherfucking comedic. Where it's like, this is goofy. I say looking at this as a horror film, you're not gonna get terrified from it. It's more like it tried to focus on gore and tried to disturb you that way. But sometimes that just doesn't work. It's just not executed in a way that lets the horror shine. And sometimes the way it is executed makes it so you're laughing during it. Like, you motherfuckers didn't notice this shit? I had similar criticisms of Jordan Peele's Us. The premise was cool, but the execution could have been way better. But back to Brightburn. Part of what makes the film so average is the short running time. It's only 1 hour and 30 minutes with credits. If you know anything about me, it's that I absolutely hate short movies and actually consider stuff that's only 2 hours to be a short film. The thing here is that Brightburn still has a slow start, given this short running time. There isn't much time for the film to do anything with the premise because it's so short of a film. By the time it's done building up everything, the film is practically over. Now, of course, this was done on a smaller budget, and maybe they didn't have enough funds for there to be a longer film.
Well, no shit.
But this is absolutely a problem here, given the way the film is paced. If a good portion of the beginning of the film is very slow, with little to no plot movement and nothing revealed other than what the trailers have already shown anyway, there's a huge problem. And I'm not talking about action or horror scenes, whatever you want to call it. I mean, the film spends way too much on aspects of the story that we already know and would expect. Like, for example, it isn't satisfying treating it like a shock in a story for us to see this motherfucker able to withstand the blades of a lawnmower, like the trailer showed off already. Yeah, we knew that going in.
Maybe there is something wrong with Brandon.
But of course that doesn't happen because the motherfucker's super strong. Then it's like, yeah, you could show this, but this is shit we already know. It's not even him discovering some shit because he already's done some super strong shit. Oh, whatever. Yeah, it's okay if you have enough time in the film to show this, but you didn't hear. People will talk about character development and use it as an excuse for a slow start, but this doesn't really fly. There are plenty of ways to make character building interesting and satisfying to watch without making a story go to a standstill. Plus, in this case, with Brightburn, the characters, again, are not that strong anyway. You don't really feel an organic connection between characters, they're just archetypes. Like, you don't see a relationship between Brandon Breyer, the main villain little shithead, and his parents. I mean, to be fair, you do see him partaking activities with them, they go places, yada yada yada. But it's still, okay, yeah, they love each other because, oh, that's their adopted son. And that's basically it. But of course, it's a horror film. You're not gonna go in expecting some in-depth characterization to every single motherfucking character there and have a mother. No. But I'm just saying, you can't use character development as an excuse for having a slow start when you're not really focusing on character development. That's not really the reason it's slow in the start. But let me talk about some positives. So, again, it is entertaining. Part of the gimmick of it all is that it really is a parody of Man of Steel, the origin film, like when the motherfucker's a kid and shit. You'll go through this and like, haha, like, even the music, even down to the music, where it's like, yeah, they're trying to sound like this shit, come on. It's funny, and it's entertaining to watch because it's a new spin on it, and it's like, hey. When the film actually gets moving, and characters are dying, finally, you'll start to say, oh, this is decent, this isn't bad, it's fun to watch and predict what's gonna happen. There are some creative ways these motherfuckers are getting killed in this film. And it's like, oh shit, sometimes it looks fake, but I don't even care, it's funny. Like, for example, this is already revealed in the trailer, when the motherfucker does the speed blitz against this one motherfucker, I just shouted out laughing. It was so hilarious, like the shit.
This is how I enter my house. What's up, fuckers?
Wait, and the sound effect they use in the sing, right? It sounds like the bass drum to an old-ass Snoop Dogg song. Like, listen to this shit.
When the pimp's in the crib, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot.
It's almost like something you wish they didn't reveal in trailers, because I had already seen it, but it was still funny to see. Some of the gore is like, okay, you're trying too hard, but it's whatever. So that's what the type of film it is. It's more on gore, not horror. And that's the type of horror film, okay? So whatever, let me give this shit a verdict, because I can't really talk about much more without spoiling it, because, I mean, there's not really much to talk about. But I give this a 7 out of 10. I would say it's just an average score. And I know that sounds like, hey, you're hating on it. No. I didn't hate the film. I just thought, oh, it was whatever. You know, it was decent. But it wasn't anything to rave about, in my opinion. It's okay, though. So 7 out of 10, alright? Shit, see, motherfuckers, I don't hate everything. Shit. Okay, time to talk about spoilers. If you motherfuckers don't want to hear about spoilers, turn this shit off. Go. We know you might want to subscribe before you turn off if you like the shit and you want more shit. Because it's hard to find me. No, wait. Subscribe and hit the bell. Because you want to be alerted when I do post new shit and whatever. All right. So this motherfucker, Brandon Breyer, have you ever wanted to punch a motherfucker through a screen so badly? I hate this fucking kid. And of course, the motherfucker is still alive at the end. That's the only thing I was rooting for to happen in the film. Like, please let this motherfucker die. Please. But, that's whatever. What can I say about this film? They tried to start off this, what was it? The alien ship bullshit, okay? Now, in my opinion, it wasn't really needed, the alien ship shit. So where it had the signal when he's basically activated, he goes and daydreams to it to try to unlock it or some shit, whatever. No. This motherfucker was still a piece of shit without an alien signal going into his brain, alright? And fuck that shit. Just have the motherfucker be an insane. But whatever, even though it's not needed, it's understandable because they wanted the whole edge of where, this was the plan. They came down to Earth, not because they were fleeing from their home planet being destroyed, like some Superman bullshit, but no, in order to conquer the planet. So that's understandable. But again, this kid was still a piece of shit beforehand, and I still don't get the whole impression that, it was only because of the ship, that's the reason he was a horrible person. No, the ship had nothing to do with it. He would have still ended up the same motherfucking way. But let me talk about the gore. One thing about the gore, right? The gore scenes. The shit with the glass, and it was stuck in her eye, and she's pulling it out. That had me laughing. I'm like, motherfuckers around you, like when the thing was on, they were just tensing up so much, like, like that was a highlight to his shit. I mean, in a way, they tried too hard, but it is like, okay, I don't even care. That's cool. What else was good? The way the motherfucker's flying around and shit, it's funny and whatever. But then, that one motherfucker, the sheriff motherfucker, him. Well, anyway, when Brandon flies to him, his shit just, everything. It's just, it's blood everywhere. It's his organs all out, ripped to shreds. I mean, this motherfucker ended up looking like chitlins. Your black-ass grandmother would probably prepare this motherfucker for Thanksgiving. That's how fucked up he was. It's like, this is disgusting as hell, but it's like, it doesn't really startle me. It's just, the fucker died, okay. I didn't find it gruesome to the point where it's like, oh my goodness, like, it really shocked me. No. It's like, just there, it's like they were trying a bit too hard. But, I mean, really, that's not even the problem with it. It's like, it's predictable. It's a predictable death because that type of shit happens in horror movies where the fucker shows up at the end, they're like, I can help you, I can save you, and then bam, the fucker dies, just like that. It's typical, There's nothing wrong with it being a trope. There's nothing wrong with it. And them following a tradition of the horror genre, there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying, it's like, it's another eye-rolling moment where it's like, okay, yeah, it's predictable as fuck. All I'm saying. But it's also a horror film, so I think it's pretty obvious that he was going to end up dead. Take a wild guess why that's so obvious. Yep. Because his last name's Deaver. Who the fuck is named that shit if you aren't gonna kill that motherfucker? Deaver, what the fuck? But he's not the only one with a dumbass death. The mother herself ends up dying. I forgot to explain this shit about the ship. But apparently, the ship can damage and injure Brandon. That's the only thing that can hurt him. So she gets a piece of it, right? And she's going to stab him. Except, like a dumb motherfucker, she raises this shit all the way up in the air. Like, and says some shit. And it's like, you should have just fucking stabbed him. You took all this damn time. And it's like, of course he can see that shit. Are you stupid? It's so dumb. That was frustrating. But again, that's the type of shit you'd expect to see in a horror film. And that's another thing. There's really no twist or surprise in the film. It's pretty straightforward. You expect what's gonna happen and it happens. Now, listen, I'm not arguing for some dumbass shit, must subversion shit. But I'm saying along the likes of a twist where you find something else about the story that you didn't know going in or watching a trailer. There's really not anything here. The only thing is the fucker is still alive at the end, and that's it. They could have done a little bit more to surprise the audience by having more mystery involved and having there being something to solve, like horror movies are supposed to do. No, whatever. Besides being a Superman parody gimmick, there's really nothing else the film has, and that's why I say it's a 7 out of 10. And maybe I'm being a little nice to it by giving it a 7, but nah, I'll say it's decent enough for a 7. There's really not even much else to talk about, but one thing is the setting. Okay, and now of course, Brightburn is supposed to be in Kansas, just like Smallville is supposed to be in Kansas, okay, motherfuckers? They're in the Midwest and shit. But this still takes place during the modern day. Motherfuckers have cell phones and shit, they're texting, whatever. You can't tell me that no one could notice motherfucking Brandon Breyer flying around in a cape and shit. Like, come on. No, I've never been in the Midwest, but I'm sure motherfuckers have more surveillance than that. Like, there's multiple crime scenes where, oh, well, we don't have any video of anything that happened. And it's like, sure, maybe at this one motherfucking spot, but we're talking the whole entire motherfucking town. Like, this fucker would be able to fly a fucker around and take them from a place and they wouldn't see it. Like the mother of that one girl. He apparently flew her all the way from where the fuck she was at to the motherfucking spaceship. I mean, come on. Someone is going to notice that in the air. But alright, suspension of disbelief. And thinking of that, the whole thing with the classmates and everything with the girl that he had a semi-crush on or whatever. I mean, the fact that the motherfucker breaks her hand with what? Who can do that? You can't, like, once that happened, the jig is up. This motherfucker is super strong. How do you not know that he has super strength when he's able to crush her hand by simply squeezing it? Come on. And it's funny the way the father and the uncle, they were talking, they were playing pool and they were out, right? And they were saying, your son broke her hand. He's a monster. He's an animal or some shit. Something along that lines. And I'm like, motherfuckers, have you, like, this should raise the fucking alarm right there. Like, what the hell? Yeah. And I know, listen, all horror movies, they'll have some silly shit in it, okay? But this was just stupid to the point of, what the fuck? But let me wrap this shit up, because, damn, I didn't want this to be this long. This was supposed to be a short video. Well, anyway, I thought the film was okay. But maybe you disagree. Maybe you absolutely hate this shit. Or maybe you absolutely love it. Let me know, comment. If you like the video, and all that shit. Consider subscribing to me, motherfucker. And hit the bell and all that shit. Hey, share this. Be like, what do you think about this crazy motherfucker? Why not? And don't worry, I'm still working on other reviews for, other, endgame, other shit, you know? And believe me, I'm talking about that, because those videos on that shit, that pretty much quadrupled the amount of views I get any other time. But, thanks for watching, and take care.